What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Panthers Advice. Today, man, we've got a lot to talk about between the Panthers believing in Bryce Young to be the future to letting a potential nickelback starter go and salary cap, but actually good news about it, man. Let's jump into it. First up, we got to talk about Dane Jackson. Now, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit shocked the Panthers cut him, but on the biggest stage, he showed that he's just not a nickel back, and he doesn't fit a Vero scheme. Run that back one more time so you guys can see. Horn does a great job bailing. Bang. He's going to pick up Worthy. And there goes the Chiefs wide open. If you thought this was, just a one-play fluke, take a look what happens right here. Now, you're going to see Dane's going to recognize it pretty early. However, the problem is you can't take yourself out of position, right? You cannot take yourself out of position. If you see Worthy going towards Jewel, all right, and you know Jewel's going to pick him up, fall back with the receiver right here and then play underneath. Because take a look at what's going to happen right here. Bang, running back out of the backfield on 1st and 10. Easy 10, 15 yards. Now, he's not completely out of place, right? Take a look what happens. He's going to drop back at first with the outside receiver, but then he starts to run with Worthy. Mahomes is going to see that as he starts to progress back to the right side. Take a look what happens. Back to the left side. He sees his running back wide open. Why? Because Dane Jackson went from staying with the outside receiver, being traveling with Worthy. And honestly, as I look at this, I'm not sure what his plan is. Because it looks like the Panthers potentially in a cover 3 look. All right? Mike has the top right there. Dane should have the flat or that seam. I'm not sure what he's doing playing all the way over there knowing Jewel has underneath, right? I'm a little confused by that. And then we're going to get to our next play right here after this, all right? 1st and 10 to get a first down. Right here, it's 3rd and 4. So this one I go back and forth on, okay? It's 3rd and 4. You got Dane Jackson playing almost 10 yards off. You got JC or Mike, all right? But one of those guys is on the outside, right? So JC down here, I believe, all right, he's manned up. Mahomes isn't going to look at them. Who's Mahomes going to look at? He's going to look at Dane, who's playing 10 yards off on Xavier Worthy. It's 3rd and 4. And what does Xavier Worthy do? Bang, a nice little whip route. I mean, that's easy money. Ultimately, what it comes down to is who put him in position to line him up 10 yards off Xavier Worthy right there on 3rd and 4. You're almost better off stopping Worthy if you get hands on him, right? Because if you don't get hands on him, he's gone. Now, do I think Dane Jackson is a complete bust? No. Because look at this play right here against DeAndre Hopkins, playing as the outside corner. He has potential, but it feels like the second he's in the nickel back or he's supposed to switch, whatever it may be, he chokes, right? And maybe it was just a scheme, whatever it may have been. I think he can play as an outside corner, right? Running the fade routes, running the corner routes. But other than that, he seemed to struggle. So where does that leave the Panthers right now when it comes to defensive back? Let's take a look real quick. So as of right now, all right, we got Mike Jack playing the left side, all right? You got JC Horn playing the right side. Nothing changes right there. Nickelback is Shaw Smith-Wade. He seemed to come alive the last 4 or 5 games. You saw a little something from him. Backing up those guys is where we start to see a little bit of alarms, right? And what I mean by that is if you look who's backing up Mike Jackson right here, a Caleb Evans, haven't heard of him before. All right, Farley, he's working on a major comeback. You got Bartholomew. I like Bartholomew a lot. We didn't see a lot of him, though. Then you got Lonnie Johnson, the nickel. If you don't know who Lonnie is, do a quick Google real quick. You'll find out who he is. So we've got some young talent as far as Bartholomew and Farley. And Lonnie's kind of up there in the middle. Not bad. I still think we need a little bit more depth, though. I think we need to bring in a veteran, okay, whether it's to play behind JC or play behind Mike Jackson. I still think we need a veteran. Look at the safeties. You got Damani, who wasn't bad, right, towards the latter half of the season. You got Xavier Woods. To me, he's got to go, but it is what it is for now. Backing up Damani is Jordan Fuller, who didn't really do his thing either. Nick Scott didn't look great. And you got Sam Franklin, who didn't look great. So as much as I want a veteran cornerback, looking at our safety, I think you got to go safeties first and then kind of work your way down to the cornerbacks. But with all that being said, let's jump to some good news real quick. Some good news is the Panthers believe in Bryce Young. Now, why do I say that? Because the headline here clearly says Andy Dalton contract structure represents win-win for the Carolina Panthers. All right, that means Andy Dalton redid his contract to help out the team. And here's what he said. So I'm going to wrap this up because my voice, if you can't tell, it's still not great. So basically he talks about the trajectory of this team and he wants to be a part of it. And he goes back to a couple of years ago saying, I didn't know if we were going to win a single game, to be honest. And then you go back to the latter half of this past season, he says we're back on track. So if Andy Dalton is saying that, this is the same guy who wanted to start. Don't forget that. When he signed with the Panthers, his goal was to start at some point. It looks like now he's taking more of a mentorship role. And that's why I say it's good news. Now, why is it good that he's taking a mentorship role? Because that means the Panthers are putting their faith in Bryce Young. All right? So Bryce Young doesn't have to constantly look behind him. When he looks behind him, he has Andy Dalton behind him. This is how Andy Dalton's contract is going to play out over the next couple of years. Do with that what you will. Let's talk about some money, some salary cap. But before we do that, take a look at Andy Dalton real quick. You know, if Bryce Young gets hurt, we know he can make throws, right? Now, obviously, he had Adam Thielen, he had Dane Jackson, killed it against the Raiders. A couple of games later, wasn't the best, and then obviously, you know, him and Dane Jackson just didn't get along, right? So, with that being said, I'm happy Andy Dalton is staying on the team, but now let's talk about the salary cap. So for those of you who didn't hear, there was a salary cap increase, all right? About 4 to 5 million, give or take, okay? So apparently the Panthers are going to be sitting at about 20 to 22 million. Now they're going to be sitting at around 25 million. And that includes the signings of Andy Dalton and long snapper JJ, all right? The Panthers have 28 players expected to hit free agency. As we take a look at some of these unrestricted free agents, you got Andy Dalton, but he was re-signed. You got Corbett, Christensen, Tremble, Ian Thomas. Will the Panthers sign him? Or how much dirt does Ian Thomas have on the Panthers? Will the Panthers sign Ian Thomas, Felipe Franks, David Moore, Mike Boone, Deshaun Williams, Cam Gill, Shaq, Mike Jackson, Farley, Woods, Fuller, Scott, Franklin, Lonnie J, and Johnny? All right. Who do I think the Panthers are going to re-sign for sure? I think it's going to be David Moore. I would be shocked if Trimble wasn't in there. Shaq, we'll see. Mike Jackson, I think is a must. Farley, I think you're going to get him for the low. Woods? I don't know. It depends if Avira likes Woods. I feel like Avira likes Woods. And if you look at it, Woods is a free agent, Fuller, Scott, and Franklin. Now, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Woods, but out of the four of them, I feel like Avira's going to go with Woods, but we'll see what happens. Lonnie J, I mean, it is what it is. So let me know your thoughts. That's going to wrap it up. Panthers Advice is out. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Live stream coming soon. We haven't done a live stream in a while. Stay tuned for that. And mock draft coming soon as well. Stay tuned for that. I'll catch you guys later. Take it easy.